Hi, I'm Leslie Nathan Street, president of the Gift and Home Channel, and I'm here in Oak Park, Illinois with Sondra of Olive&Well, and Sondra's going to show us around a little bit of her store, but the beauty of a store like this is the fact that it's all about the tasting, all about the demonstration. And we have a lot of segments on the site that speak to that, speak to if people can walk into a store environment and taste or be demonstrated what they're going to buy, they're going to end up buying more. I already know because I've been tootling around and tasting a lot of your olive oils and your balsamic vinegars, and I am a huge cook. So this is extremely fun for me. But why don't you tell us a little bit about why you came up with, how you came up with this idea, and then what it is that you do to interact with your customer to actually do exactly what you're doing with me.
Sure. You know, I actually came up with this idea when I saw it in Europe for the first time, and I thought it was amazing that you could actually taste something before you left the store. Because how many times you go out and spend a ton of money on olive oil and you get home and you go, oh my gosh, what the heck was I thinking when I bought this, and what am I going to do with it? Here, you can taste everything. Now, when I first opened the store, however, the funny thing was people were so reluctant to taste because in this country, we don't taste oil. They go back to where mom tried to give them, you know, castor oil or cod liver oil, and they're thinking, oil, I'm not tasting any oil. Today, people beg me, you got a new one in? I gotta taste it, I gotta taste it.
That's
and
awesome.
Yeah, so it's wonderful.
Well, it's funny because I was walking around, I was looking for the bread at first because most places, if you do that here in the U.S., you do taste it with a little piece of bread, and here we drink it.
Yes.
I mean, and it's awesome. I mean, you really get that flavor, and there's nothing in between you and the taste.
That, you know, I'm glad you said that, because when I first opened up the store, people were asking for bread. They'd look around the store and say, well, where's the bread? How do I taste this? And I would tell them that you're going to taste it from a cup. And I said, once you're done tasting it, you're going to thank me that I didn't put anything in between you and the oil, anything between you and the balsamic. You're going to love it, trust me. And then as soon as they taste it, they want to taste more and more and more. And they say, you were right, I didn't want bread with this.
Well, I think it's a fabulous idea, just this whole store. Why don't you show me a little bit about your different products here, and I think that our viewers will just get the feeling from just probably my expression, because I'm loving what I'm tasting so far.
Oh, great. One of the first things I do when somebody walks in is I'll actually give them the layout of the shop so they understand they can navigate it, because I'll show them how to taste and I want them to be able to taste themselves too. So I'll talk about the single varietal olive oils. People go, what are single varietal olive oils? And I say to them, that's an olive oil that's pressed with one olive. That's almost unheard of in this country. And every single olive oil that I have, each individual tank, there's only one olive used to press the oil in that tank.
Wow.
So you taste that one unique olive. And as we go from olive oil to olive oil, you'll find that one is buttery, one is nutty, one is grassy, one's got notes of artichoke in it, banana skin, and they actually can taste that because it's not disguised, as you described, with bread. Okay? Okay. So we're going to start with what I usually do to cleanse the palate. And the funny thing is, as soon as I cleanse their palate with this particular item, I hear, wow. So much so that it's actually on the card. So I'm going to take you over to the 18-year-old traditional balsamic that I have in the store, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds perfect.
All right. This one right here. And just like I said, we put a little bit into a cup. You see how nice and dark and thick that is? And you just sip it directly from the cup.
Okay, perfect. Wow. That is incredible.
Yeah. You know how many times I've heard that I don't like balsamic. Somebody walks in and says, I can't try it, I don't like balsamic. And I say, you know, you probably don't like the balsamic you've had. You're going to try this one, right? And they say, yeah.
Oh my, that would just, you don't even need, I hate to say it, you don't even need olive oil with that to make a great salad.
Right, if you're going to do a salad, you don't. But the great thing is when somebody does tell me that, then I kick a little bit of olive oil into it, and it kicks it way up for them, and they say, okay, I didn't need the olive oil, but I like the olive oil. So I would give you a great olive oil to go with this one. I'd actually mix this particular one with a Meyer lemon olive oil. And the Meyer lemons are actually pressed with the olives at the pressing. And so you get the oil from the rind, and you're going to get the juice from the lemon itself. All that's going to be filtered through with the pressed olives. Out comes a wonderful Meyer lemon olive oil, which is one of the sweetest lemons out there.
That sounds incredible.
So, yeah.
Now, talk to me a little bit. You have all these cards, and again, that's the power of demonstration. You have these cards out that explain here the wow, taste this and wow, it's especially delicious when drizzled on ice cream. I mean, I don't think many people would think, oh my gosh, let me drizzle this on ice cream. I am a customer. I walk out of your store. I bought that product. How do I remember that, oh my gosh, this would actually be good on ice cream? Or just you might combine a couple different. I might end up walking out with 4 bottles of balsamic and some olive oils. How do I remember which ones you mixed and matched?
That's a great question, because many people do walk out with 4 or 6 bottles because the minute you taste it, just like you mentioned earlier, they want to buy it because it's right on their palate right at that moment. So what I will talk about is the fact that on my website, which is on their bottle, so unless they lose their bottle, they're not going to lose my website. They can get the information that they see exactly here on the card. They can go there, they can print recipes for the items that I pointed out to them and I paired for them. We call them pairings here. But they can get information on that. They can get the information that's on the card specifically, telling them what to use it with, what the notes are going to be, how it's going to taste. All the good information there is right on my website, which is right on their bottle.
That's perfect. Well, why don't we try, if you had to pick one olive oil, I know that's really hard, and I'm sure I'll walk out with more than just one, but why don't you pick one olive oil so we can try that?
Okay. Actually, you know what, if it's okay, I'd actually like to show you 2, because
what
I want to do is I want to show you the difference between one olive oil and another, simply because of having one olive. All right. Now, the card on top, as I was telling you earlier, that is actually telling you the olive that's used to press the oil in that tank.
Okay.
So then it's going to give you some tasting notes about that particular one as well. So this one is pressed with the Piqual olive. It's a gold medal winner out of Australia. And some people think that they need to go to Europe in order to get great olive oil. Although you will find wonderful olive oils in Europe, you're going to also find wonderful ones in Chile, Argentina, Australia, everywhere around the world.
Wow.
There are going to be gems. And this happens to be one of the gems, and it happens to be one of my favorites in the shop. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a little taste of this. You're going to get a nice, nutty, buttery taste. As it finishes, you're going to get just a bit of banana skin, and you're also going to have a nice olive finish to it as well. Okay, this would be what I call a medium-bodied oil.
It has so much flavor.
It has layers, doesn't it? I mean, you'll get one note after the next, the next.
I feel like I'm tasting wine. Because when you taste wine, you go through those different tastes. It's actually a little spicy.
Yes. You know what? That's the oleocanthal inside of, it's the natural antioxidants in olive oil. It's usually compared to ibuprofen, as a matter of fact. Okay, so it's a great pain reliever. It's a great way of just really putting good things into your body, and you look for that nice little spiciness and tickle at the end. That's fresh.
Wow.
That's how you know.
That's
okay.
Awesome.
So we're going to put that on the side here, and then I'm going to take you to another place. This one is a Greek one.
Okay.
It is an Athenolia. The Athenolia is the particular olive. This one is going to be a little bit greener. And now, don't necessarily be fooled by green olive oil versus yellow olive oil, because you can have a yellow olive oil that has a very strong green flavor to it. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. So don't let anybody trick you and say, gotta be a green, because that doesn't matter. That could just mean somebody pressed leaves with it to make it green, okay? So, all right, so try that one. That one's gonna be a lot stronger, much more olive flavor to it, much more intensity to it.
Oh, yeah. Totally different.
Totally different. Totally different olive.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think this just speaks to the whole power of demonstration, of trying. I know I'm about to walk out with probably more than I planned to when I walked in, but you do this, I'm assuming, with everybody that walks in, give them that one-on-one, and I think that's wonderful, because that's really what business is all about, giving that one-on-one experience in an independent store.
Yeah, that's actually what my customers have come to expect. One great thing that happened this year is we were actually ranked one of the top 10 businesses in Oak Park that you want to return to in 2009 by a chef, a local chef here who teaches at the local college. Yeah, we thought that was wonderful. And one of the things he noticed, though, was that not only do we give quality, but that service, that one-on-one that you just described, is why he put us on the list.
Thank you so much. This was great. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Leslie Nathan Street with the Gift and Home Channel.